The Medrash presents differing opinions as to the reaction of Yisroel after hearing about all the miracles that Hashem provided for the Jewish people. Rav says, Vayichad Yisroel, that Yisroel was joyous, is the simple understanding. Rav says he was so filled with joy that he took a sharp knife, a cherev chada, and he circumcised himself. In other words, at that moment, he went through the conversion. Shmuel has a very different interpretation. Shmuel says, Vayichad Yisro, his flesh became chadudim. His flesh became very prickly. Why did his flesh become prickly? Because he was very pained. He was pained and upset about the fact that the Egyptians were killed, that so many in Egypt had died. And yes, while he was the priest of Midian, certainly Midian and Mitzrayim were neighbors, and they had a close relationship. So he was torn up about the loss of life. Rav and Shmuel's opinions seem to be as far apart as one can imagine. On the one hand, Rav says he was converting out of joy, and Shmuel says he was mourning, he was ashamed, he felt pain for what had happened. And perhaps they're not really arguing with each other. What Rav and Shmuel are saying, in essence, is that we all have a past. We all have a history. It's not something that we can change. We feel a connection with our past because that's who we are. That shaped us. Yisro grew up among the Mitzrayim. He was, to some degree, an Egyptian. He has that past. That is who he is. But at the same time, he understands that his past, while it shaped him, it doesn't define him. It's not his future. That's not what he's about moving forward. Now Yisro is someone who is taking that Mila knife, if you will, and going on to the next covenant, doing the next mitzvah, doing the next good thing to connect with Hashem. In our lives, we have to remember who we are and where we came from, but we also can't forget where we're going. Rav and Shmuel are highlighting the fact that Yisro understood where he came from, and he felt anguish over the fact, the human element, that his comrades, people he grew up with, have been killed, his land has been destroyed, but he also understood that there's a future, and he's living for a higher purpose, a greater purpose. And to each and every one of us, it's so important to remember that the past doesn't define us. Yes, maybe it shapes us, but we have the opportunity, the ability to move forward. Every day we have a chance to go through a circumcision. Every day we have the opportunity to enter into a covenant with Hashem and wake up and conquer the day, to fill that day with studying of Torah, fill that day with doing mitzvahs, taking care of other people. And when we do that, that is the true representation of Vayichad Yisro. Yisro was excited. There was simcha. Why was there simcha? Not only because he was sad about what happened in the past, which happens to be a simcha. Why? Because he understood about the future. He recognized that the future is bright. He has an opportunity to continue to inspire others, and so do we, each and every day. And may we all merit that Vayichad Yisro, that simcha that comes with the recognition of the past and the joy and excitement and anticipation of what we can still do in the future. Have a wonderful Shabbos.